Testing, and we are live yet again. This is one more voice talking about gun control. You know, it's a fun thing to talk about. Everybody's talking about blah blah blah. Point is that I'm jogging sweatily behind the bandwagon because, let's face it, I need my cardio every morning, and I generally don't get it rushing out the door, grabbing a cup of coffee, and going to work. So, once again, hotel room. At some point in time, I'm actually going to move into a proper house, but for the moment, traveling. Now, I'm not, oh my god, I'm traveling to see the work. No, I'm traveling for work. So, moving on. So, firearm control in the United States of America, specifically, because I'll be talking about it in a general sense, but a lot of it is surrounding the controversy involving mass shooters in America. Alright, now this is going to be a little bit strange because I actually have a list. There we go. It's a couple of points. Alright, now, a couple of things. First off, I'm going to say this flat out, so there is absolutely no confusion. I am a supporter of the Second Amendment and the right of the people of any country to own firearms. I honestly think that it is a right that more countries should pick up. So, let's go ahead, toss that one out. Now, the second thing I would like to throw out is, when I say owning firearms, I mean that you have to own them with some responsibility. The original head of the NRA, despite whoever or whatever he was, I'm not going to hold him up on his, hero on a pedestal, but he did have a good point, and one of the good points that he had is that he was against open carry. He was against waving guns around in a manner that would make people uncomfortable, more or less. And again, you can look up the quotes. If someone wants to fact check me and burn my ass in the comment section later on, by all means, I'll issue a retraction. I will issue a retraction for every point that I am wrong on. But yeah, so no, the original head of the NRA was highly against what he called weapon buffoonery, or firearm buffoonery, which I honestly think is something that we really need to pick up. Gun culture and firearm culture, and there is a culture around firearms. If you go into a store, if you read the magazines, if you do stuff like that, you'll see that there's a bit of a culture. And it's not a bad culture, but it comes with its drawbacks and it comes with its upsides. So, I do not like the way that a lot of firearms manufacturers and firearm enthusiasts are. I don't like how they're carrying themselves in public, and I do not like how they're carrying their firearms in public. I think it actually gives everybody who carries firearms a bad name. Here's a good example. Those two jackasses that walked into a Starbucks carrying AR-15s slung over their shoulder. Now, I do not like the AR-15, just to start out. I think it was a subpar firearm when it was originally made. When it was originally the M16, it was a subpar firearm. It was a subpar firearm on the drawing board. It was a subpar firearm in its first live fire tests. It is the result of political lobbying and back deals is what it is. So I don't like the AR-15 to start. But the people that walk around trying to trigger people, because they open carry, listen, I will fully admit that there are people, very loud, obnoxious people online that voice their displeasure at absolutely everything. There are people that overreact once they see a firearm because they panic thinking that everybody in the room is about to die, not understanding that the drain cleaner underneath their sink is actually far more likely to kill them than a man with a firearm, just in general, statistically speaking. In fact, they're far more likely to kill themselves taking something out of a vending machine than they are getting killed by a man with a firearm, or a woman with a firearm. they're far more likely to die choking on a cheeseburger or getting hit by a car while they are driving than they are to a firearm. But they panic because firearms are evil things that have just been kind of turned into the boogeyman of the progressive left. That being said, as somebody with a... if you are somebody with a firearm, when you put that thing in your pocket, or when you strap it to your side, or when you put it across your back, you are taking on some responsibility. In the same way that you take on responsibility when you get behind the wheel of a semi-truck. Because that semi-truck can cause quite a bit of damage if you're going to be an idiot with it. A firearm is exactly the same thing. It is a device that, if used improperly, can cause a lot of damage. However, when used properly, can be a tool. It can be a recreational device. It can, and of course, be a personal defense tool. That being said, if it is a personal defense tool that you are looking, or that you purchased to do harm against people that are looking to do harm to you, why are you going to take it out for a stroll with the purpose and intent to make other people irrationally angry? There's a phrase for that. It's called looking for trouble. Now, I don't know the home life of these gentlemen who did this, but I really would hope, that you have some other form of entertainment in your life. You know, pick up a book, get into wood carving. I mean, hell, even watch the NFL if you really want to waste some time. But the point is that just no. It's basically the exact same thing as somebody walking into the middle of a quiet library or movie theater and screaming, "Everyone look at me." That is kind of how I see these people that walk around with open carry, basically trying to stir up trouble. If you own a firearm, and I mean, hell, even more so if you have the ability to conceal carry, if you're licensed for that, and we'll get to licensing too. But because this rant has gone on a little too long, but the point is that when you own a firearm, when you carry a firearm, when you have a firearm on your person or in your hands, you are responsible for anything that happens around you in your person that could otherwise have been prevented. If you are holding a firearm, it should be treated in the exact same way as if you are driving a piece of heavy equipment. You should be not looking to stir up trouble. You should not be looking to scare people. You should not be looking to cause a scene. This sort of behavior only drives and gives credibility to the anti-firearm people, because you are proving, or at the very least, supporting the theory that people are not responsible enough to carry firearms. If you own them, which if you live in the United States is your right as a citizen, then move with a little bit more dignity, a little bit more respect for the Second Amendment. Don't use the Second Amendment to bludgeon your political opponents. It is above petty politics. It is an intrinsic right of American citizens. It's one of the things that the country was founded on. It was the Second Amendment to be written down. Treat that with a little bit more respect. The people that, hell, most of my friends, most of the closest people to me, do not know anything about my firearm ownership, because I don't really find the need to talk about it all that much. I'm not even going to particularly talk about it here, because the fact of the matter is that I don't feel the need to swing that around. The fact of the matter is that if I go out and target shoot every now and again, you know, put holes in little pieces of paper 100 yards away. That's my business. That is my business, and I do it, honestly, just for recreation. It's very soothing. You go out, it's very nice and quiet, again, until the actual firearm use starts. But the fact of the matter is that you go out to a spot, it's nice, it's quiet, you make sure there's a very large and legally sized dirt wall behind your target so that there's no chance of a ricochet, or at the very least a incredibly minimized chance, and you just concentrate, because you have to really focus in. You focus in, you stop thinking, you don't have to worry about your job, you don't have to worry about politics, and you can just, it's like meditation. It's like meditation with very loud noises. So, moving on from there, that is my stance on firearm ownership. That it's an absolute right, and I honestly think more people should engage with firearm ownership, because most of the people that are highly anti-firearm, they've never held a firearm, they've never fired one. They're foreign objects. The only thing that anti-firearm people really know about them, the only thing they really know about them is that basically what the news tells them, or very specifically, what a certain side of the news tells them. So they should get themselves educated. In fact, I was educated about firearms before I ever touched one. And the first thing that I was taught was trigger discipline. Trigger discipline, for those of you not in the know, is a set of rules that minimizes the chance of innocent people being harmed while firearms operation are in use. For instance, you never point it at something that you do not intend to poke a hole in. You always treat it as if it is loaded. So you never joke around with it. You never treat it like it's a toy. You always check to see if it's loaded when you pick one up. Even if the action is open, and even if there's a zip tie going through the action, even if there's no magazine, you always check. There might be one in the tube. You know what? Quantum physics might throw you a curveball and just slip one in there without your knowledge. The point is that you treat it very carefully, you treat it with respect, and no one gets hurt. No one gets hurt, no one ever feels unsafe, and it honestly just becomes a nice event for everybody. So, now that that little rant is over, on to my list, because this is a structured video, and I'm going to be presenting you some points. Exciting. Okay, no, not really, but let's go ahead and jump onto this, because I'm going to circle back to why I don't like AR-15s. This is going to be a long video. So, a lot of people that are freaking out about firearms are freaking out about a handful of things. One, military-style weapons. Okay, first off, weapon is a loaded... Weapon is a loaded term. So weapon is a loaded term. Basically, I am way too proud of that. Basically, it's a firearm. It's not a weapon until you use it to harm something. Most people that own firearms, most people that own guns, do not intend to harm something with it. Or if they don't plan on harming something with it, if it's a self-defense tool, because at that point in time, it's a contingency plan, rather than, oh boy, my house is going to get robbed tonight, I better buy a firearm. No, if you know your house is going to get robbed, you inform law enforcement, and you have them there before the burglar gets there. Because no one knows how and when they're going to be attacked. Some people want a little bit of extra insurance. Personally, I don't really see because... reasons. I really don't have to explain myself. So, military-style weapon. Let's call them guns or firearms. Military-style guns. So, what is a military-style gun? Because I took a look at a lot of the things that a lot of these people want to ban, they want to ban things like bump stocks, or they want to ban things like the AR-15. They want to ban all assault-style weapons. Okay. Military style. Now, there's a tremendous amount of surplus rifles on the market these days that are a hell of a lot more lethal than an AR-15 5.56/223. There's a lot more. You want to do military-style weapons. So a lot of the long rifles that fire very large caliber ammunition, your 7.62x54, your 30-06, your 308s, a lot of these are military-style firearms. None of them are affected by any of the weapons ban legislation. So what do they even mean by military style? Well, I'm pretty sure a million people have said this, but allow me to be the 1,000,001th. I am one more voice after all. What they mean is things that look scary and that the media has pumped up as extra dangerous. They mean your AR-15s, your tactical rifles, your M4s, things of that nature. Alright. They mean bump stocks. Alright. First off, the military doesn't use bump stocks. They use select fire weapons that are currently not even available on the market to begin with. Also, bump stocks? Bump stocks. I'm going to have to do an entire rant on bump stocks. This video is already getting long enough. Okay, so military style firearms. This will be quick because I'm almost going to have to make I'm probably going to have to make a second one of these. So, they don't even want to ban military style firearms. They're banning a very specific set of firearms that have been mocked up to look like military hardware, but aren't really. So the legislation is being written by people who have no idea what's going on. Bump stocks? The military doesn't use bump stocks. In fact, bump stocks kill your accuracy, first off. And yes, I know, if you're spraying into a target-rich environment, accuracy is not really going to be your primary thing, but I'm going to get to that one later. I'm going to cover these in far more detail. So, everyone keeps cranking up the United States as one of the most violent places to live. Okay. No. And no. We have more firearms in this country than, I believe, any other country on the face of this earth. And we're actually number 10 on gun deaths per capita. And the vast majority of those are self-inflicted gun deaths, meaning that they're suicides, meaning that there's a lot of people killing themselves with firearms, but there really aren't that many people killing each other with firearms. Mass shooters are horrifying. Mass shooters are horrifying. They're awful. But in the grand scheme of things, they really do not affect that many people overall. They affect a tremendous amount of people that are just concentrated in one area, and that's what's so awful about them. They're basically just these tiny points of horribleness that occasionally crop up because I guess they want to make a name for themselves before they die, and there was literally no other option for them. They're angry at the world, bitter, nihilistic, just horrible, worthless. Or maybe they had worth at one point, and they lost it, or it was taken from them. Just broken people. I might have to branch out on that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make another video. But so I guess this was the introductory on gun control. I will see you in the next video. God, I'm actually gonna have to do this.